The vertical crossing tool is a simple way of avoiding clashes and coordinating your model. If you click on the vertical crossing tool, you will then be given a floating toolbar where you can select a crossing method. We have three available. We've got 2 points, a line, and then we've also got a smart tool. So I'll just take you through each one of these. This 2-click crossing method, you will have to determine the length of duct that you want to cross over. Just to make you aware, this is available in piping as well. After you've selected your 2 points, you will be given a little marker, and then you'll be given another alignment floating toolbar. This then gives you the opportunity to go over the top of an object, at the center of another object, or at the bottom of an object. So all these are doing is referencing the height. This one will reference the top, this one will the center, and then this one will reference the bottom. So I'm going to use the top. And then I will need to select what I want to reference. So this duct's right here. You'll then be provided with this dialog box, which will give you a preview of what the tool is about to do. It will also, if you have a 3D section open or a section, and it will show you how it's going to achieve that. What you also get is these live offsets, and these are your offset limits. So in Revit is based on reality, so these fittings will have a height to get up and then get back to going straight. So these are what these limits determine. So the lowest I can go to here is 2763. So if I go below that, the tool will recognize that these fittings are going to clash into each other and not achieve this offset to get up and back straight. So this line determines the offsets going above, and then everything below is below. You'll see here that we've got the top of the duct, middle of the duct, and the bottom of the duct that it's referencing. So if I go back to an offset that is achievable, you'll see that it'll go back to green and I can update. But we don't always want to do that. We want to offset between the tolerance between two ducts. So what I'm going to do is I can use any of these. I'm going to click on top of, and I'm going to re-reference this duct. Now what I've done there is that duct is running exactly straight on top of that one, which we won't want. So I can then add this tolerance here. So I can put 100 mil on top of that. And as you can see, it's all live updated, and now I've got 100 mil tolerance between the duct I'm amending. You'll notice down here you can change the angles as well. So every time I change these angles, these tolerances will change, as you just noticed, because as the fitting changes, the height of that fitting will change as well. For example, if I go to 90, it will say it's not possible to get up and around at that offset. So if I push it up, the bottom limit has gone up to 3224. So if I go to 3.5 and update, you'll see there that I can now fix that problem and press OK. The next one is a line crossing method. So what I can do is I can select a point on the duct, and then I can either use that dimension there as it's showing, or I can type in a length if I know that length. This time I'm going to go below, and then again it will ask me to select a reference to go under. And we have the same options again whereas I might want to go at 45 this time, and then that will be in the limits with a 100mm offset. Again, I can check my preview, or if I've got a section open or a 3D view open, I can check that. And once I press OK, that will then put that amendment into the duct. And then finally is the Smart tool. So this time, this is going to put the length at the minimum distance available. So I'll select the duct I want to amend, and then the object that I want to avoid. So that's 2 clicks this time. And you'll notice it has done the minimum achievable to get up and over that obstacle. And again, I can change offsets if needs be, and it will let me know if it's possible or not. Afterwards, you can tidy this up if needs be. These are not fixed. The multi-vertical crossing is also a tool that can easily coordinate your model between objects. I'm going to show a pipework example at the minute, and just as before, this can be used in duct, vent. So once clicking the multi-vertical crossing, again I will be given the same options as previously. This time I'm only going to show this Smart tool. So what I need to do is select the pipe or object that I want to amend. It will then turn and highlight in blue. And now when I hover over other pipes or objects, I will get this plus on my mouse cursor. And all I need to do is select the pipes or objects that I want to amend. And then I'll go to the top left, press finish. Again, same menu, I want to go above, and then I'm going to reference this duct to go over. This then gives me a preview that I can interrogate to check if this is what I want to see. I've also got a section open here, which, as you can see, these pipes are different sizes, so it's aligned them all to this offset with the 50mm tolerance, and you'll see it on the 3D section down here. It also shows me it on there, and it will even put the fittings in here on the plan view. Again, I can amend all these to whatever I think suits best without actually installing it. I can keep amending and updating. For example, if I wanted a smaller offset, I can do that and then press the update, and then it will update live for me. Again, I've got my limits above and my limits below. So as said before, these fittings will have a minimum height. So that is a minimum height that these two 45-degree fittings will be able to use to get up and over. And then the top limit is for how far this angle can go up before they actually start to cross, and it will not let you do that. As we have a vertical crossing tool, we also have a multi-horizontal tool and a single horizontal crossing tool that is in the drop down here. So we've already gone through these two, and what we are going to now do is skip this single crossing because it's exactly the same as the multi-horizontal crossing tool, and again it's just a simple way of coordinating your model. The difference is we have the crossing methods here, but the Smart tool is not available anymore in this view. So what I'm going to do is use these 2 points. What the 2 points is good for is if you've got multiple obstacles that you just want to avoid once without coming in back and in. So I'm going to select here and here, and then what it'll ask for is the rest of the objects that I want to amend. So I'm going to amend this pipe bank as well. And then what it'll ask for after I press finish, it'll ask for a base point that it wants to come out from. So I'm just going to select the end of this duct that's in line with the steel. And you'll notice I've got a bank of pipes and a duct, and it will do both at the same time. As the vertical crossing, I can have a preview. As you can see, I'm avoiding that steel there. I could change the view if I wanted to. And then these are my offset limits. So these are how far I can come out. And again, if I want to put a tolerance on there, I can do. I can put 75mm, for example, update that, and then it will just update my model to suit my preferences within here. I could change the angles again, which then will change my limits, as you can see. What you can do on the horizontal is you can flip sides of the crossing direction, which if I press this arrow, it will actually swap and go into that wall. And you can then flip back. So as you can see, that is a quick way of clash avoidance of any objects accurately. So hopefully that will be a great productivity tool for you. Another tool that can be used in conjunction with the crossing tools is the Smart Move. So this is available within the ventilation tab and also the piping tab. So it works on pipes and ducts. So selecting the Smart tool is just a way of amending the offset heights that we might have used in crossing. So I'll just change the insulation on this duct. So now my offsets are changed. So the 100mm offset that I previously had is not there no more. So what I can then, using the Smart tool, I can readjust that offset from the insulation that has now been added. And I have been given the height of that duct there, so I'll select the right duct. And then I can reuse my offsets on top of, at center of, at bottom of, top of top, and then bottom of bottom. So I can use all these reference offsets to re-reference my duct. So now I'm just going to reference this duct with the new insulation on, and then I get a preview. You can see that insulation is now on there, and it's going to readjust back to 100mm offset, and then I'll update that. So now that's updated back to the 100mm offset that I've got from that duct. And I've also got my limit offsets there. So once I press OK, you'll see that it's updated on the plan section and the 3D view. I can do that again to the other duct on the opposite side. And I'm just going to re-reference that. And as you can see, it's got 100mm tolerance in there. I can change it to 50 if needs be. And you'll see there that you can actually notice what has been changed and moved. Another useful tool for coordination and even modeling is the angle to horizontal tool, and this works well in conjunction with the multi-vertical crossing and all the crossing tools. As you can see here, I've got a bank of pipes, whereas 4 of them I have used the multi-vertical crossing to avoid this duct, but then afterwards I've modelled this pipe in here, and what I need to do is match the same angle rising. So this angle to horizontal can add a angle to this pipework accurately. So I can select the end of this pipe, and what I want to do is select the angle I want to rise up with or rise down with. So I'm going to go to 45, I can change the diameter of the pipe if needs be. I can even add insulation on here, or a sizing method to be used with the calculations. I could also change the pipe series if needs be, if it's changing material, if that ever arises. I'm going to take this tolerance off here for now, because I'm going to match the center of this pipe to these pipes here. So as you can see, I've selected over the duct and the pipe. So what MagiCAD is asking here is what pipe or objects that I want to select. So I can easily see and determine which object I want to select, because it's giving me the information from the pipe, and it's even giving me the system that's associated with that pipe, also the diameter, and also the level and the offset. And whereas you can see here, that is the duct, which is not what I want to select, but it's giving me that information to select that. So I press OK, and then what I can do is press OK on that, and then you'll see here on the left hand side in the section, 3D section, that it has rolls up with a 45-degree angle to the offset of the rest of the bank of pipes. So then I can continue drawing, and then you'll see here on the floating toolbar it gives me the option to use angle to horizontal again. So another way I can use this, I can model a vertical pipe going straight down, all within plan view, by just selecting 90 degrees. I could select angle and go down, but for this purposes I'm going to use 90 degrees. Again, I could change the pipe size and series and all that. But what I want to do is I want to go 100 off the floor, 100 mil off the floor. Press OK, and what it'll do is it will draw a vertical pipe right down to 100 mil off the floor. Okay, it's not only used for that, I can also use this for creating branches. So I've selected angled horizontal. I can select this pipe here, for example, select anywhere on that length, and I want to change my angle to, let's say, 30 degrees. I can then change the size. I can then add insulation or size method again. But what I want to do is go underneath an object now. So I'm going to put a tolerance of 75 underneath the pipe, and then I'm going to go at bottom of. And what I can do is I can select any of these, and it's just going to reference that offset, and then it'll update all my live offsets. I press OK. It will then ask me which direction I want to branch off at. So I'm going to branch off this side, and you'll see that it's created a T, and I can continue drawing wherever I want to. But if I zoom in on the 3D view, you'll see that it's not created a 90-degree angle, it's actually rotated the fitting so it can do it in the less amount of pipework that possible, whereas Revit would put a straight length on, then put an elbow and then drop down. So hopefully it's a bit more based in reality what we're actually drawing. The standard connection tool is also available and can be used in conjunction with the rest of the coordination tools such as the angled horizontal and multi-vertical crossing. So what you can do is I've got a straight length here, and then I've got an elbow with a bend at different levels. And similar to the angled horizontal, I can click on the end and then the elbow. And then what will be provided is this preview menu, where we'll have a selection of angles and either where we want to a T or a tap. But as you can see, it will give you a first angle and a second angle, and it will provide you with some options that you can interrogate. But what you'll notice is that the actual fittings will actually rotate. And as you can see, you can go through and select your optimum layout. and what you'll see is it's changed that elbow into a T. And if I rotate a little bit, you can see where the elbows have been rotated. The next tool I'm going to show you is our array for ceiling, and this tool helps you install products within the ceiling grid. So it's notoriously difficult to install directly into the ceiling grids within Revit, but with MagiCAD we provide tools that will assist you with this. So on our array tool from our install product, we go to ceiling, and one thing to be aware of, you will need to be in a ceiling view to use this. So what we have here is I've selected a grill and it's going in at height at 2400, and then what the array is saying is there'll be empty rows between instances, so this is empty tiles. So in this case there's 2 and 2, and empty columns between instances is 2. So what I can do is I can hover over the space and select the space I want to do it in. Now what it'll ask is it'll need to select the first point of the grid. So this is so MagiCAD can work out the size of the actual tool. You need to be very careful and make sure you select each of these corners. And as you can see, it will lay out in the grid directly in the center, whereas this is not what we want at the minute. So you can go back into your floating toolbar, and then we can go to say, well, maybe I want 3 tiles in the columns in between, and then that may be a little bit better. And then you can keep doing this until you actually press apply, and you'll notice that there we'll have them grills installed with 3 tiles in between and 2 tiles in the rows. What I now can show you is the device connection tool, and then our new move and copy branch, which could work quite well in conjunction with each other. So what I'm going to do is use the device connection, and first thing I can do is select one device at a time. So I'll use this one at the end, for example, and I can select it on the end of the duct, and as you can see there, it's connected the duct up. I can choose whether I want flexible connection or not. In this case I do, and then I can select what flexible connection I want, and then I'm going to put at 500, and then update that, and then it'll put a flexible connection on there. I can then filter through my options here, and what these are is my first and second angles, and as you can see I think I'll choose this 90 and 90, press OK. And then what I can do, I can either select multiple devices where it's click, 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 or I can get a box around them, which I'll do with this one, 3, sorry. And then I'll select the pipe or duct or main that I want to choose, and you'll see here it'll give me the solution for each one of them. Again, I can choose whether I want a T or a tap, so I might want to go through a T this time, and if I pull out the preview, it'll show me how it's going to achieve that. And then I can also go to 0 and 90, which mimics what I've got on their end there. So that's the one I'm going to choose, and I've selected that, and as you can see it has modelled that section in for me. But now what I can do is I can use this move or copy branch, and what I need to do here is I select a fitting and then the direction of the branch, and it'll select everything downstream of that branch, and then I can press finish, and I can either copy that like so, and I can add it to that duct then, and as you can see It's copied all the information on there, kept the system and connected it to the duct. I can also mirror this. So if I want to add it on this side, it will then also copy that branch over. A few coordination issues there, but I'm sure you get the point. So if that's the case, and I've put that there by mistake, what I can do is use the move copy branch. I've also got erase branch. So I can do exactly the same, and if I do want to get rid of this one as well, I can select them both, press finish, and what it'll do is it won't break or split the duct. It will actually trim the duct back, and I can get rid of it quite quick there. So we're showing you all the coordination tools there. It's quite a good rounded package and would help you with your productivity within your design. The next tool I'm going to show you is the pipe connection tool. So using this pipe connection tool, I can easily connect up these radiators or any devices up with pipework. So I'm going to select the pipe connection. I get the choice of a selection mode, which is one device at a time, or I can use a box to select multiple devices. So I'll use a box, select these 4 radiators, and then it will ask me, do I want what main I want to connect to. So I need to select a flow and return in the exact point where I want to make the connection. So I want to run along this wall. And then once you have selected that, it will put the pipework in as you specified, but I can also choose a multi-series connection, which is as it's doing now, or this is a direct connection where it would connect each radiator up on its own. So as you can see from the section and the 3D view, and also in the plan view, it has given me my route. So this at the minute is running at high level, and also drop that straight down from the main and have it running at low level to the radiators, and then in line with the devices I can run underneath and connect in. I can also look at this on a preview if I didn't have any 3D views open or sections. You can see there, and you can rotate this view to interrogate before the actual pipework's installed. What I can also do, if I go back to running at high level, I can also put a drop on this from the main if you have to avoid any other objects. So I can put -100. If I put a plus figure in there, it would go up, but with a minus figure, it's going to go down. And then once I select this update, it will then give me a new preview, and as you can see, it's dropped that connection by 100 mil. I can also add a 45-degree angle on there if I want to, and what it'll do is it'll rotate that fitting at 45 degrees and then drop to high level 100 mil down, and then connect up the radiators as shown. I can also set my length between my fitting and my first elbow. I can also select the distance between my flow and return pipework, and also my height off the floor. What I can also do is change the pipe series if needs be, or add in any insulation, and any warnings or information that is needed will be provided within this box. So once I press OK, you'll notice that that will be installed, and then the floating toolbar will come back on so I can connect any other radiators or devices that might need connecting up. As you can see, all that pipework has been installed.